Welcome, Coaches Roundtable. I'm Ed Codi, and welcome our guest, Duquesne University head football coach Jerry Schmitt. Coach, thank you for taking time and joining us on our show. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. 18 years, headed into your 19th year, and I look at your schedule, Coach. It might be the most ambitious during your tenure.
I think it is. I think this year will be the most challenging schedule that we've had since I've been here.
What's fascinating, had Neil Brown on last week. So he opens at Penn State, comes home for you guys. Then he has Pitt. You open with Edinburgh. Then you have back-to-back FBS games with West Virginia and Coastal Carolina. What fascinates me is how both of you coaches will handle the emotions with these first three games.
Yeah, that's always a challenge. We're really excited this year to open at home. It's been a few years since we've had a home opener here on the Bluff at Rooney Field. And it's pretty exciting weekend when we do that. So we're looking to play a great game there first, obviously, and then start preparing for those next 2 weeks.
Well, having said that, Coach, so you get your team ready for Edinburgh. How do you keep them focused and not looking ahead to the next week going to West Virginia?
I mean, since I've been here, it's always, you ask our kids, what's the biggest game of the year? And they'll tell you it's the next game. And so, we have our team focused in on that. I think also the fact that we've played some FBS games here in the last few years, they understand you have to take it one day at a time, because there's been some situations on the front end and the back end of those games that we haven't played our best. And we understand you have to play your best football every game, no matter who the opponent is.
How exciting was that last year? You go to play Florida State, Tallahassee before 85,000. I know they won by a big score, 47-7, but I watched the game. I didn't see any intimidation on a part of your players. They stuck right in there. And then you gave Hawaii all they could handle before losing 24-14. So certainly your kids aren't intimidated by the physical challenges of playing an FBS team.
No, not at all. First of all, they appreciate the opportunity and the excitement of playing in stadiums of that size and programs at that level. And they appreciate the challenge. They look forward to the challenge, understanding our numbers aren't as great as theirs and the talent levels that they have. And they understand that, but they want to go compete hard and take advantage of those opportunities individually, but then collectively as a football team.
Coach, FBS teams, 85 scholarships. You in FCS, you can have 63. What does the Duquesne roster look like in terms of fulfilling all those scholarships that you have available, 63?
Well, we're actually in the Northeast Conference. We're at a reduced scholarship conference. So our max at our conference is 45. So, it's a challenge for us to build depth. And that is the issue, in our conference and with teams like ourselves. We, fight hard to try to maintain consistency over the years, but it's tougher to do. And, we have benefited over the years. This is a great football area, as you know. And in the past, when a young man went away and maybe played at a bigger FBS school, and for some reason things didn't work out and he wanted to come home, we were able to benefit from that. And what has changed here in this crazy world of college athletics right now is that the biggest thing is that transfer rule. Prior, if you wanted to be eligible the next year, you had to play down one level, and we benefited from that. And that allowed us to keep consistency with our recruiting of incoming freshmen. And now that has changed. And so, we're working through everything that's going on now with the transfer portal and the NIL and, trying to maintain consistency.
You lost one of your star players, your star receiver, wide receiver, caught 9 touchdown passes. Is it Abdul Janneh? Is that his correct name?
Yes, Janneh.
to Georgia Tech, certainly that has to hurt you. But on the other hand, I don't know how many transfer players you've have come to Duquesne. How's that worked out for you?
Well, obviously, we hate to lose him. He came in as a freshman and developed, and he's long and athletic and had a great season, and he was rewarded for it. I work with these guys individually on every situation. I want what's best for them individually. And so we look to, our younger guys have an opportunity, guys that played behind him. And then we obviously benefit from transfer. We've had a few transfers come in the spring, and here in the summer, we're still working on it. So we've been fortunate here. We've had great receivers over many, many years, at least one, sometimes two on the all-conference team. So we'll use the guys that are here and develop them.
Coach, the last few years, you've played a number of FBS teams at TCU, and of course, Florida State, Hawaii. You beat Ohio U. I think that was in 2021. That was a big win for your program. In the last few years, James Madison, Coastal Carolina, they bumped up from FCS to FBS. Any thoughts in the future that this is the direction that the Dukes may head?
Well, that's above my head. There's always conversations of, what conference we should align with, and what are our opportunities to potentially move up. There's a lot of things that go into it. And we're just going to take it day by day and year by year here and continue to develop the programs. Like you said, I've been here 18 years and I was here back in the 80s when we were Division III. I was here in the 90s as an assistant when we were 1AA non-scholarship. So I've been through the transitions. So we would welcome that transition, but it takes a lot, for us as a university to move up to that level.
Would you have to get a bigger stadium? Because James Madison holds around 25,000, Coastal Carolina 21,000. I know Rooney Field's only 2,200. Would you have to? I don't know if you have room to expand there. Would you have to look for a 20,000 seat stadium minimum?
Yeah, I think it absolutely would have to either expand or find a place to play that had a bigger stadium. I'm not sure exactly what the minimum requirements are, but I think we would have to do that.
So you're playing all these FBS teams, and there's some talk in the future. What about Pitt and Penn State on a future schedule?
Well, like I said, that's not always my decision. It's above my pay grade. We just take them as they come, and I think it would be great.
I heard Pat Narduzzi say he said he would like to play you guys.
Pat and I are good friends. I go over there all the time to spring practice, and just was at their prospect camps. They're very gracious. They let us in there, and they're a great staff. Long time. I've been here 18 years through all the coaches, but Pat's a great guy, and it'd be great to battle against him and the Pitt Panthers. I'm a longtime fan, since I grew up in Pittsburgh. So.
Hey, Coach, you're going to play West Virginia. This will be the 8th meeting. The Mountaineers lead the series 4-3-1. The last time you played was 1935, and the Dukes beat the Mountaineers. And just looking at the history of the great 1930s under legendary coach Elmer Layden coaching the Dukes, the bowl win over Miami, the Orange Bowl, 33-7. Great big crowds at Forbes Field, 60,000. At Pitt Stadium. That's a great day. And I talked to some Duquesne grads. They'd love to see you go back to that level.
Yeah, I think it would be great. I mean, it was different back then. And I study that history. I was over the History Center a couple of weeks ago and listening to some stuff about the Mosquito Bowl and, some Duquesne Dukes were playing in that game. And it's great history. We talked to our players about the traditions here and where this program was back then and where it's come now. I think that would be awesome. I'm all for it.
Hey, Coach, thanks a lot for taking time to joining us. Wish you great luck in your 19th season as a head coach of the Dukes. Have a great year.
Thanks, Ed. Really appreciate being on.
Thank you. I'll be right back with Al and George.
Armstrong Comfort Solutions wants to help you get your home ready for warmer weather. Our cooling experts have the tools and technology to keep you comfortable all summer long. Get a free estimate on a new home air conditioner and ensure your home's AC system is summer ready with a safety clean and check. No matter what the weather brings this summer, your home will be comfortable all summer long. Call Armstrong Comfort Solutions today at 833-789-9100 or visit us online at armstrongcomfort.com.
I'm back, joined to my right by the Swami, George Abraham, to my left, the Tiger Albert Campman. Guys, Jerry Schmitt, Duquesne coach, headed into his 19th year and probably this year's schedule the most ambitious in his tenure. Back-to-back road games against West Virginia, Coastal Carolina, and then later in the season, always tough, Delaware.
Yeah, I will say this: I hope they're getting some money paid to them for games there, and they're taking these losses. Jerry and I go back a long way. He was a girls' coach at Beaver. How about that in high school? And I was referee his games, and I refereed for a while, and got to know him really well. And not only is he a really good coach, but he's a really good guy.
And their game with West Virginia, this will be the 8th in the series. West Virginia leads 4-3-1. The last time they played, 1935, Duquesne won. Bill Bourne was there at that game.
Yes.
You know, I was looking it up. In the 1930s, they were a powerhouse under legendary coach Elmer Layden, one of the four horsemen at Notre Dame. They beat Miami in the Orange Bowl 33-7, 1934. And then later in 1937, they beat Mississippi State. They played before 60,000 at Pitt Stadium and sellout crowds at Forbes Field.
That's interesting. Never knew that.
Okay, let's go to Spotlight Boys Lacrosse semifinal. It was Mars 11, Lampeter, Strasburg 7, Jack Dunham. He had 3 goals. Enzo Greco had 5 assists and 2 goals. And then in the championship, that semifinal win put Mars in her 3rd straight state championship game. Marple Newton 11, Mars 10. Ryan Gorman scored the winning goal for Newton with 2.5 seconds remaining in regulation.
Wow.
How tough loss that is.
That is really tough.
Junior Enzo Greco of Mars, he had 5 goals. Greco, the WPIL 2A Lacrosse Player of the Year. He is a Penn State recruit. Mars finishes a great season, 22-3 WPL champions. Congratulations to Coach Bob Marcoux, his staff, and team. Always tough to lose that last one.
I'm wondering what goes through their mind. Is that a successful season for Mars? Because they're that.
Because they won
Right,
what?
yeah.
5 straight WPL champions.
They're so great that does that loss tarnish and go. I have to tell them, listen, if you get there,
That's
it's
a great year.
season.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. In lacrosse, they've played it for years in that Delaware Valley. I mean, they're a little ahead of us, I would think, except for Mars. Mars seems to handle whoever they play.
Right. PIAA 3A championship in baseball. Riverside 4, Camp Hill nothing. Pitcher Christian Lucarelli. He went 6 2/3 innings, just 2 hits. He had to stop because he reached the 105 pitch limit. Hunter Garvin was 2 for 3, 2 RBI. Mitch Garvin had a 2-run double. The win gave Riverside a 5th PIAA title, the most ever in the history of Pennsylvania baseball. Riverside 25-0. They become the first WPIL team to win the PIAA title undefeated. All of this under 79-year-old coach Dan Oliastro in his 55th season. He has tied all-time WPL championships in baseball with 6. This was win number 689. They are the Yankees of high school baseball in the state of Pennsylvania. Oliastro, guys, listen to that. He's been there through 10 U.S. presidents. Did he start in the Spanish-American War? What a great career.
Well, I knew about this team when they were 7 years old. The Garvin boys, I taught with their dad, who's now the principal.
The Hunter's a sophomore, right,
yes.
too.
And the Lucarelli kid has been raved about
Another
since throwing 92 miles an hour, going to Duke. And I taught Michael, his dad, and a lot of these kids are Elwood City kids who have moved to Riverside.
Well, if Oliastro wasn't a legend before, he is now.
No, absolutely.
Unbelievable career. In coaching news, Zach Stitt, the assistant women's basketball coach at Cornell University, he was named the new girls' head basketball coach at Mars High School. And in high school track, Butler High School cross-country track star, Drew Griffith, he was finished 6th place at the New Balance Track and Field Championship, Franklin Field in Philadelphia, earning him All-American honors. And his time in the 3,000 meters was 8 minutes, 13.28 seconds, a new state record.
Yeah, when you get into the elite people and you can still compete, that means you're one of those the very best.
And that Mars coach, we trained his wife.
Did you?
Yeah.
You guys got your footprints all
Yeah,
over
well,
the place.
we were there a long time, but that's
That's why.
that'll be a tough crowd at Mars.
Our stories of the week: the National Hockey League, the Vegas Golden Knights. They win the Stanley Cup with a 9-3 rout of Florida in Game 5 behind Mark Stone's hat trick. A nice win for Vegas, their first crown, but this was not a memorable Stanley Cup Finals with blowout wins of 7-2, 9-3, 5-2. Next up for Vegas, they have serious cap issues that they have to deal with. Florida, they had so many serious injuries. One of their players, I never heard of this. He played with a broken, cracked sternum. How do you play with that?
Hockey players do it.
This guy's they're
I mean, you
there's
can't
nobody
brush your
close.
teeth with a
No,
broken
there's nobody
sternum.
close. I saw that one guy get hit so hard that night. He just went like this and skated off. I said, well, he's done. Next, boom, right back in. LeBron would still be laying there.
Tough guys, I'll tell you that.
One of the things I want to say about hockey is I don't like what they do in hockey anymore. They load up expansion teams. Like,
Yeah.
I want to see it. If they're an expansion team,
Yeah.
I want them growing.
But
They
the
say-
reason they do that, Albert, you see how much money they get.
Well, I
from
know
those
what the reason is
expansion
money. It's
teams.
always
But the
money.
first
But I'm
time-
saying they move in as one of the top
But they
10 teams
gave Vegas
immediately.
the first time it happened. They thought they had remedied this time by how many people the other teams could keep, and they still are loaded.
Let me say
Seattle,
this,
same way.
say
Seattle
this
Kraken.
about Las Vegas. You know, they said they were having some trouble because of proliferation of casinos all around the country.
Yeah.
Bringing in the Raiders, bringing in the Golden Knights,
Yeah.
have boomed their economy
Wait till
there.
they get the Oakland A's.
The O,
Same way.
and then now the talk is the NBA sees where the gold is. They'll be
They'll
next
be there.
in there before long.
Absolutely. Hey, by the way, that you said it wasn't a memorable Stanley Cup. That's because your team didn't win it. Like
Yeah.
I guarantee it was memorable in
For them,
Las Vegas.
for them, but the viewing wasn't very good. The viewer, it was down.
Well, yeah, we've talked about hockey.
You know who they wanted in the hockey?
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely.
they wanted Boston in there for sure.
Boston.
Hey, another hockey news. How about this? Peter Lavalette is hired by the New York Rangers. It'll be his sixth team to coach. He's the Energizer Bunny of National Hockey League coaches. He keeps going from job to job to job.
And I don't like that either. They do it in all sports.
No.
They revamp. I got to be some young guy
Yeah.
that's waited his
Give
due.
him a chance.
Yeah,
Some
it might be,
assistant
might be the
somewhere.
next whatever, Paul Brown.
Yeah.
And they keep revamping these guys and think they're going to make a difference. I don't like it.
What? He was only with Philly for what, 1 year?
The one time he
2
was in,
years.
they have that New Year's game, where
Yeah.
they play outdoors, and it was he and the guy that used to coach the Capitals, the short little guy.
Yes.
Those guys used the F word as more parts of speech in an hour than I've ever heard it used in my life. I think he was with the Rangers that time or Philly, one of them.
I've lost track. He's coached
Absolutely.
he's
No.
coached half the league almost.
Absolutely.
And Major League Baseball.
Well, the ultimate F guy is the Georgia coach, though.
Oh, yeah.
The Georgia football
No,
coach. It's the most. He's the most embarrassing human being I've ever seen in my life. He was bragging about his pep talk.
I heard it.
Major League Baseball, the Pirates lose 6 straight on the road to the Cubs and Brewers, giving up an average of 7+ runs per game, dropping to third place behind the Brewers and the red-hot Cincy Reds. Cincy's won 14 out of 20. The Pirates now 34 and 37. 14 and 29 their last 43 games. They start off the series with the Cubs in Pittsburgh, losing 8-0 in their 4 games with the Cubs. They give up an average of 9 runs a game. Everything about them has fallen apart, and Coach Derek Shelton says we need to execute. I'll let you guys tell me what that means.
Well, they just where they're supposed to be. This is a team they put on the field, and this is what they pay for. And it'd be hard for them. Their bullpen was so sensational for that run, and they had so many clutch hits. I didn't think they could keep it up. And then they used their bullpen so much, they're hurt. They're really in bad shakes right now.
52 runs they've given up in their last 7 games. 7 straight losses.
Terrible.
They recall catcher outfielder Henry Davis. He starts in right field, gets his first major league hit with a double, but he's not a solution. It's a nice promotional thing, but the problem is with the pitching. And now Comes up the Major League Baseball draft. The Pirates have a #1 pick. The two top players, both from LSU. Pitcher Paul Skeens. He has an ERA of 1.77, leads the nation in strikeouts, 179. He averages 16 Ks per 9-inning game. And then his teammate, center fielder Dylan Cruz, he's hit 14 homers, batting .432. He's a tremendous outfielder. Who do you take? Which one of them do you take?
It's a tough call, it really is, because Cruz is the best college hitter that's come along in a long time.
Great outfielder.
And I'm always, I want pitching, but I'm always scared to take a kid that throws this hard in 3 years. His arm's hurt, and he's not playing.
How about the pitcher from Stanford threw 156 in a game?
Yeah, he did. I'll take the pitcher from LSU. That's what I would take.
I say I'm going to take Cruz. I want that center field position solidified.
Let's talk to this Davis thing. Al and I were talking in a way now. You have a guy now, he's drafted number one.
Yes.
He's not catching because he can't frame pitches. And they have outfielders who can hit a little bit, but they'll keep batting this 160 batting catcher.
And the thing about Davis, he's just not a good defensive catcher. That's just the way it is. Whether he'll develop into one remains to be seen.
Yeah, he's a hitter, though.
He may be a DH guy.
He's a hitter.
But I'm saying, how's he going to develop into a catcher play right field?
No, I agree with you. Hey, interesting thing, I'm watching a game. They're losing 8-0, and they send Jack Sawinski up to pinch hit with 2 outs in the ninth. And the announcers are talking about he'd be a good home run derby person as he struck out the end of the game. That's all they could talk about.
No, they're cheerleaders.
Well, this ain't nothing game. There is not much to say,
No, they're cheerleaders. They've always been cheerleaders.
Hey, unusual. I look at the Major League Baseball, the power rankings. Look at some of the teams that have been downtrodden for the. Well, Tampa having a great year, have them at the top. Atlanta, of course, they're always good. Baltimore now, resurgent Baltimore. Yeah. Texas in there, Arizona, Miami, with a nice record of 41-31.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's one of those years. This is one of those years that the lesser payroll teams are playing well. We'll see. I'll see how long it lasts.
Even though Steinbrenner, the Yankees, said the lower paying teams are hurting baseball.
Well, the thing about Miami, Al and I was saying, Alcantara's not pitching well. He was their best pitcher coming in, but like you said, the Pirates, the Orioles, they're going to be good for a while now. It looks like. I'm not sure about Miami, but you talked about Atlanta and Tampa. This every year.
Hey, here's my pet peeve baseball I've been noticing. Runners on first and third, 2 outs, and runner from first takes off for second. They don't throw down anymore. Why?
I don't know what the reason is. They don't.
That's out to the Little League stuff.
I agree with you 100%. Well, I never remember that happening before. Do you?
Not in the majors.
Not major. We do it maybe in high school.
Yeah,
you let it go, or you had some cutoff play to try to throw home. All right, let's go to the NFL. Let's start with the Steelers. With quarterback Kenny Pickett says the Steelers' offense can be among the best in the NFL. Now, I admire him for his belief in that. And yet last year they were 23rd ranked offense. They scored only 18 points a game, 24th in passing, only 2 TDs beyond the red zone, and they were at the bottom in plays of 20 yards or more. Guys, what do you think about Pickett's statement? They could be among the best offensively in the NFL.
Well, it's one of those statements that every team makes. As George and I were talking,
they're all undefeated.
Every team says they're going to be undefeated right now. You can't say anything else but that. You have to say that, and you have to believe it. As reporters like we talk about, they're going to run the ball. They've already.
Canada said that.
I already saw that. I saw they went out and got offensive linemen to run it. So they'll play action pass and run.
The other thing, imagine if he gets, we're not very good.
Yeah,
right. You can't say that.
Now, still they say that, and yet the defense they're going to be this year was $105 million. They're still lead the league at $126 million. It may go up even more as linebacker Alex Highsmith. He wants a 4-year deal worth $16 million a year. Do you give it to him?
I give it to him.
He's pretty good at it.
Yeah. But he had 14.5 sacks last year.
Yeah, he did. You get him and Watt on the same. Now, when Watt's not healthy, I wouldn't give it to him.
He's double on him.
Yes. He's not the near player. But when you're doubling team with Watt, he dominates on the other side.
What happened to Chase Young? Did that talk die down?
Yeah, it did.
They were talking about Chase
They were talking about him, but nothing materialized. Hey, how about Vikings release 4-time Pro Bowl running back Dalvin Cook? He's had 4 straight great years, but salary cap issues, and he has to go.
Well, the first position to go in football these days. is running back. They see Kansas City get a 7% go. They see these teams winning with 7th round draft running backs.
I would tend
They
to
get rid
agree
of
with
them.
you. You want to get the elite receivers.
That's what happens.
Running backs are all over.
And you
the
can't
place.
pay everybody. See, that's what I'm saying. You got Justin Jefferson.
and
They have to pay Justin
and the Steelers,
Jefferson.
what they spend on defense, they can't go out and get an elite receiver.
Yeah.
Hey, spring football, USFL. The true test of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. The USFL has lost $60 million the last 2 years. Only 2 years they've been in existence. Fewer watching, fewer are attending. There are more pigeons in the stands than there are people. Americans like their football in the fall. It's in their DNA. Can they please put this to rest? They've been trying now for 40 years?
The Rock lost $60 million.
Well, I know there's 3 right here that love football, and I have not watched one play.
No.
So
And there's no one in the
So
stands.
I kind of believe
Pittsburgh
neither
they're
one
in the
knew one.
semifinals this week, and they played the team already and beat them twice.
On the commercial coming across, they come across. They're 4 and 6.
Yeah,
they're under 500.
Right.
No, that's it.
There may be more people working in concession
Yeah,
stands.
yeah.
Bob Huggins, he resigns as West Virginia University basketball coach after being arrested for a DUI in the north side of Pittsburgh. His blood alcohol was more than 2 times the legal limit. He had a shredded tire, had trouble pulling the car over. He thought he was in Columbus, Ohio. As a result of this, he resigned. It was his second DUI. At 69 years of age, he retires with the 3rd most wins ever in NCAA history.
Yeah, the disease finally caught up with him. He's been like this forever, and he just never got caught this red-handed. Coach Huggins has had these demons for 30 years. It isn't like it just didn't show up today. And
Sad day, buddy.
Yeah.
Sad day.
But thank God he didn't kill anyone.
yeah, that's it.
No,
That is
no,
With
the
a
answer.
shredded tire,
That's the
drunk,
answer.
he could have gone up over the curb and run some,
That's the answer.
some people over.
You're absolutely right.
You just wonder why he didn't have, if he wanted to go out in north side, have the designated driver with him.
They all have them too. You
And
understand? He could
easily
have
done
one.
that.
He could have one.
Absolutely.
Hey, that's it for us. We run out of time. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week.
Did you know that you could get fast, reliable Zoom internet for as little as $4.95 per month with ACP? Armstrong is participating in the FCC's Affordable Connectivity Program, which helps eligible households receive a credit of up to $30 per month on their internet bill. This program will also increase and improve broadband infrastructure throughout the U.S., especially in rural areas. There's no need to call. Visit ArmstrongOneWire.com/ACP or scan the QR code on your screen for more information and to apply.
From high school sports to community events and beyond, you can find all of your favorite local shows on the Armstrong Neighborhood Channel.
Hi, I'm Tricia from the Butler Buzz. You can watch my show or other local programming like Up for Adoption or Hunting Nostalgia, only on the Armstrong Neighborhood Channel.
Check us out right now on Channel 100 or search Armstrong Neighborhood Channel on YouTube for playlists and much more. Spirit, town pride, community. This is the Armstrong Neighborhood Channel.